Hey, Kris and Neal. Taylor Fritz here. Heard you started a new web show called The Tennis Pro Show. That's awesome. Congrats on that. Just wanted to share a little bit of positivity, just be strong, be positive. It's going to be over soon. Just be safe and, do whatever you can do in the meantime. So, yeah, just be positive and wish everyone the best. Thank you.
How cool is that? Taylor Fritz giving us a bit of a shout out. Got some serious hair envy going on over here. So welcome to the Tennis Pro Show. My name's Kris Soutar. I'm joined with Neal Parker. We're creating this show to unite tennis coaches around the globe to brainstorm, create a think tank, bring people together, like-minded professional tennis coaches, and we will be bringing you the show weekly, no more than 15 minutes at a time. And how are you feeling, Neal, about this?
Oh, hey, Kris, thanks for doing this. I'm super pumped to join you. We finally pulled it off. I know we've been talking about doing this for a few years now.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, I'm. It took a pandemic to finally pull it together.
Finally, we've got the time. So, what with the COVID pandemic? What's it like in Canada at the moment?
Well, Kris, everything's locked down here, obviously, and we've been lucky in BC compared to other parts of the country like Ontario and Quebec. We've been able to flatten the curve maybe a little better than they have. I am hearing some rays of sunshine around. Some clubs connected to golf are allowing tennis without access to the clubhouse. Not 100% sure on that yet, but I'll get back to you and confirm whether that's happening in Vancouver. Our big event, the Rogers women's event, has been canceled, which is tough because that tournament funds so much of what we do here in Canada. The men's event that runs at the same time, I'm hearing they're still planning to go forward with it, but they're still planning, but we're not really sure that it's going to run forward or not. I'm skeptical, but they haven't canceled it as of now. So it's a challenging situation. One thing that we should probably mention is that there is something called the CERB, it's the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. And it's if you don't have unemployment insurance, it's what's available in Canada right now. It's $2,000 a month, available for up to 16 weeks. Something for Canadian tennis pros. So I highly recommend that you check out the CERB website. I'm hearing that it's been pretty seamless in terms of getting money into your account. So definitely check that out. Kris, what's happening on your
Well,
side of the pond?
you mentioned rays of sunshine. This feels like it's breaking news, but in Scotland, it's actually sunny, ironically, and we are completely in lockdown. We're similar to you in terms of, I think we're close to flattening the curve, but fortunately, the British government have been unbelievable in setting up a furloughing scheme for employees and also a similar scheme for self-employed people. And unbelievably, some genius in 2003, after the SARS epidemic, decided to take out pandemic insurance for Wimbledon. So they have full cover, not just in refunding tickets, but they will be able to recoup the entire fund that they would normally make in a typical Wimbledon year. Wow. So the LTA have very generously kind of set up grants for coaches. So if you're a coach from the UK now and you haven't checked that out, make sure that you do that. You'll see the link or the kind of screenshot come up on the screen now. And it's very, very simple to do. You just have to fill out an online form, and it will, hopefully, if you qualify, you get a certain amount of money on top of the furloughing scheme as well. So wow. We're very lucky. I hope the guy that took out the insurance for Wimbledon is getting his just rewards, because he's an absolute god.
That is awesome. That's an incredible stat. There's obviously so many things we could talk about, Kris, and I know that when we get together, we end up chatting for quite a while. One of the things that I think we wanted to discuss is what other pros, what other companies are doing to connect with their clients.
Yeah.
And so I think we wanted to highlight a few examples of what other people, are doing out there. You've got a great series on your website at theservicebox.com, and you've got a great series of videos on YouTube. And I just wanted to show Kris doing this. One of the things I loved about this series, Kris, is not only is it informative about footwork patterns, but it's a great workout too. And here's an example of you. I think you're in front of your house or in a back alley here, and then there's me giving it a shot. And it's
Dying.
it's a good workout, and just love how informative it is. Something else that I saw on the web with Mike Barrow and Sven Gronfeld and Carl from the Orange Coach Exchange. Definitely check it out. The PTR did something with Jim Lair that I thought was really appropriate for what we're all going through right now. Check it out on the PTR website. There's a guy in Dubai who's motivating his students right now in this Zoom class, and I thought that was really interesting to highlight. Christine in Montreal at the Nuns Island Tennis Club. Check out oncourt.ca, great Canadian coach's website, and she's on there, and it highlights a lot of what she does. And then another thing that I think is kind of maybe the most interesting thing out there right now is Zach Olin, and he's developing his athlete's perception with these virtual workbooks. I mean, he's covering patterns, tactics, strategies, tactical anticipation, which is not talked about nearly enough, and he's doing charting. You can access these matches, and he'll ask you questions, and it really makes his students observe. And I saw him. I saw some quotes from him about his impetus to start this, and he said it was twofold. It was caring about his students and staying in touch, and it was an opportunity for his athletes to surpass others that might not be as motivated. And I really like that. Again, you can see it's some interesting decision making around, hey, look at this body position based on that. Where is he going, A or B? So I thought that stuff, his document is excellent. Go check it out at zacholin.com. And then Louis is doing some interesting stuff right now. We always like to see Louis. He's at the Tennis Summit. That was on yesterday at tennisfilessummit.com. Check out Louis. That's always something you want to be doing.
Yeah. My side of the pond, I'm going to choose two examples that kind of cover the full spectrum between club or kind of almost entry level and high performance. And the first one is a tennis club in Glasgow called Western Tennis Club, headed up by two coaches, Ian Campbell and Julie Gordon. And Julie has done a phenomenal job in piecing together an Easter camp, a 10-day Easter camp. And the great thing about what she's doing is she's collaborating and pulling in as many different people as she can to share the workload, but it's also giving a platform for lots of people to put their kind of content together. It's also, she's empowering a lot of the younger players and coaches in her team to actually step up, and she's actually uncovering a few diamonds along the way. So you'll see some of the footage here on the screen of what the types of stuff they're doing. It's about 15 minutes a day, but they're getting their membership to take part in it. That's and excellent. Also they're putting it out to the world on YouTube. So fantastic example of how people have thought outside the box and actually used it to bring people together and share lots of content. Right. The second example is from a friend of mine, Dan Kiernan, who's an ex-British doubles #1, top 100 in the world in doubles player. And he now has a tennis academy in Spain called Soto Tennis Academy. They have a fantastic ethos there and great values, very principled in everything that they do. And they put together a phenomenal mental toughness camp online with collaborating with some great people as well. So you can see some of the examples floating up on the screen now, but they are really solid guys that know what they're doing, and they definitely have their players' best interest at heart. So two examples there covering the full spectrum.
Oh, excellent, excellent. I know that there's there's a lot of talk right now about the WTA and the ATP uniting. I know Djokovic is really on that. There's a lot of buzz happening around that right now. And I thought another thing interesting was Patrick. I'm terrible with his name, Montaglu.
Moratoglu.
Moratoglu.
It's a good one for a Scotsman to say, Moratoglu.
I love what he's doing. He's just saying, I'm just going to start something. I'm going to put it on the web and I'm get some guys playing. I love that. Just get it going. I'm interested to see how that looks. Hey, Kris, what are you reading right now? What books are you reading?
I'm getting in touch with my gut, Neal. I've always trusted my gut, but now I'm actually getting to know my gut. So I'm reading this from Dr. Megan Rossi, which is all about gut health. And it's a real eye-opener what's going on in there. And it's part of my new regime that I started actually before COVID lockdown came in. But fortunately, because it meant I hit the ground running when we had no opportunity to get out and about. So that's the top of my reading list at the moment. Right on. What about you?
Well, hey, look, I'm first line center on the all fat team right now. And that's, it's awful. Your footwork drills are going to get me there.
Get on it.
So I'm super pumped. I'm reading this. I know you know this book.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot out of it, especially in this lockdown time. Podcast. What are you listening to?
My favorite podcast is a boxing show called Pound for Pound by Spencer Oliver and Jake Wood. And Spencer is an ex-professional boxer, and Jake is actually a very famous actor in the UK. It plays a part in a big soap opera over here called EastEnders, but he's a boxing fanatic. And these guys have really opened my eyes the last 2 years to exactly everything that goes into boxing. And one of the things I've enjoyed the most is the kind of wish that tennis clubs were a little bit more like boxing clubs in terms of no hierarchy. Everyone helps everyone, very value driven and principle driven in terms of how people train. So I'm learning all about boxing from that show every week. They have phenomenal guests. They get world-class guests like Anthony Joshua on, Tyson Fury. They're getting the absolute cream of the cream of world talent coming on their show every week. So I would
check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sounds good. Check out NPR's Hidden Brain. I mean, if I could describe kind of my ideas and stuff I'm seeing around the web that we've already talked about, that's kind of, I'm hoping that others who see this show might get ideas about how to communicate with their clients. I got some ideas listening to this podcast, the NPR's Hidden Brain. I'm getting ideas from other coaches like Zach, for example, in his document, and I get ideas from watching your stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of the idea for me is let's get some ideas out there for other coaches to maybe be inspired. A lot of the stuff that, that have done in the past is all through Louis. And I know you've worked with Louis in the past. So I know his quote is, we don't coach tennis to people. We coach people, the game, the sport of tennis. And so that's always resonated with me. What's your favorite quote?
Well, I'm not going to use another quote. I think the next show I'll come up with a quote and you can give me your thoughts on it. But I'm going to kind of add something to that because I've spent a lot of time with Louis and I 100% agree with that, the kind of premise behind that. What I would add to that is that we don't actually just coach people tennis, we coach people life skills. We want our tennis players, whether they are professional or recreational, to actually be able to use the skills they develop through the game of tennis outside the game and actually in their everyday life. And let's take a professional example. Even the top players, I know they're getting older and older, but their shelf life as a professional tennis player is going to be relatively short compared to their life, and they're going to need a ton of skills after they retire from the sport. So I'm big on trying to create as much learning as possible through our sport.
Right on, right on. Well, Kris, I know there's lots more we could talk about, and I hope anyone who's watching this comes back and to see us again, because we're going to talk about all kinds of things. Maybe we're going to have some guests as well. But I know we want to talk about the future of the industry post-COVID. I know you've got some thoughts on that, and I've got some thoughts on that. So hopefully come back and see us again, and we'll talk about that and maybe share some more examples about what's happening out there.
Yeah.
Chris, thanks for doing this, man.
Well, it's been good. It's been
I always
good.
enjoy talking with you, and keep doing what you're doing. You are a shining light in our industry, and I know a lot of people are thrilled you're back on social media.
And my wife isn't, but yeah, no, I think I enjoy what I do. I love working with people, and I love working with people that are open to learning, and you are definitely one of those people. And this show is going to grow arms and legs, but it will be driven by the viewers and the listeners. So make sure you get your ideas into us, and we'll keep it short, but we'll be sharing lots of different ideas from coaches and other sports around the world.
Absolutely. And come check out the servicebox.com. If you haven't, shame on you. You've got to do it. If you can, come to gbatennis.com, get into my forum. I talk a little bit about post-COVID. Sign up and throw some ideas about some other shows that you want to hear or talk about at gbatennis.com. And I also have a list of other websites, including acecoach.com with Wayne Elderton. You got to check out. Chris, thanks for doing this, man.
No, my pleasure. We'll see you next week.
See you next time. And here's just some messages from a few friends. High five. Take care, buddy.
Boom.
Keep the faith, everybody. We're going to get through this.
Stay strong, stay active. We're all in this together.
Stay safe, stay positive, stay active. Keep your racket in your hand, because we're going to beat Corona and be back on the course very quickly.
Hey Canada, stay fit, stay strong, stay healthy. Hang in there.
Hi, this is Alex Policarpo from the Tennis Academy in Calgary, Alberta. Hope everybody stays safe and stay strong, and we will get through this all together.
Nick here from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Let's use this as an opportunity to stay connected with family and friends, and let's continue to work together to flatten the curve, and we'll come out of this stronger in the end. Take care, stay safe.